When you talk about livelihood, I'm not sure if it's a taboo topic here in Baguio, but mining is such a big thing here in Baguio, as well as logging as well, no? So, meron bang ways na, of course, the livelihoods of the people is severely affected if there is an extreme change in weather.
Yeah.
But at the same time, hindi mo rin naman maaalis sa kanila yung ganong uri ng pamumuhay kasi yun yung resources na
Meron
marami
sila.
or na abundant here in Baguio. Is there a way to make the livelihood of those kinds of yung mga miners natin and loggers sustainable?
Thank you for that. Actually, one thing in mind that came into my thoughts with that question is, of course, there are laws, there are regulations in place. But if we want to have a sustainable mining, sustainable logging, we must digger on the question, what can we give also as well to the livelihood of the citizens? Since mahirap nga naman po talaga na ang gagawin po natin ay, okay, tama na po ang mining, tama na po ang logging. When it's their source of income. But in order to become sustainable, siguro titingnan muna natin, what can we improve from the lessons in the past? How can we help them? Much more specifically, is there an alternative livelihood that they can have that is still related to the skills? Kasi ang hirap naman na tatanggalin natin. We cannot deny that fact. And of course, we need also to understand the impact of logging, mining, and to balance as well the livelihood and survival of our citizens.
Yep.
Is it also a factor po ba na kung bakit mas lumalala po yung epekto ng climate change sa atin? Like yung mining, illegal logging. Kasi as locals din po, no, syempre meron din po tayong kapababayaan and such. And also that the tourists also. Is it also a factor po kung bakit mas lumalala yung pagbaha and yung landslide na experience natin during climate change?
If I am correct, Professor, but it's undeniable, it's really the truth na there is a direct impact of mining. Of course, we have landslides, we have sinkholes, if I'm not mistaken. And taking into example, if I recall, in nearby provinces, in nearby areas in Baguio City, they experience it as well. And there is a direct correlation between these two, mining and of course, we have logging.
Meron akong next na question with regards to illegal logging naman. Well, it's not exactly like the activity, but meron tayong isa sa mga main tourist attractions here na, di ba yung pine cutting?
Yeah.
So, is there a way that tourists can help impact positively even with these kinds of activities na syempre tayo yung nag-enjoy ng mga tourist attractions dito? Imposible naman na titignan mo lang, di ba? Meron tayong for us to be more immersed in the culture, mas kailangan natin ng activities na mas sustainable that brings us closer to nature. Yung ganito ba, on your opinion, is something that we have to change, or is there a policy that we can possibly do to make it more sustainable and beneficial not only to the tourists but pati sa locals?
One thing I've observed actually is to first understand the concept of sustainability. And yes, there are current seminars, workshops, trainings being implemented. However, the question is, what comes next? There are always times that we observe one gun or shotgun projects, as they say, wherein you implement it, but the question is, what comes next? I think that can be the point of intervention between tourists. For example, if there will come again another tourist or locals themselves, wherein they immersed both in a project, I think there should be continuity in it. It's not just you implement the project and then bye-bye, certificates and then bye-bye.
Actually, totoo yun.
That's the reality in the ground.
Ako tingin ko, we need to shift the narratives ng parang we're being fit against each other ng locals and tourists, ganyan. Parang we need to shift the narrative to ask accountability sa mismong government to really take on the climate crisis right now. Kasi kung babalikan natin kanina sa questions like livelihood and everything, totoo namang may impact. For example nga yung mining, totoong may impact. That's why we actually campaign to support the locals, hindi yung malalaking private companies. For example, in mining industries, merong in Cordillera and in Baguio, especially in Itogon, Benguet, and Lepanto, merong small-scale miners. At itong small-scale miners, meron silang regulations kasi mismong sila yung nakatera doon. So they have have their own regulations on how to exactly hindi masyadong masira yung mismong environment. However, these big private companies, large-scale minings, ay yung mismong gumagamit ng pagbobomba ng mga bundok, mismong nabubutas yung mga, yes, how would the Cordillera as a home for mountain ranges? Paano siya magiging Cordillera, 'di ba, kung wala na yung mismong mga bundok nito? So parang kung in this question, parang we need to really shift yung mismong narrative to yes, merong individual accountability ang tourists, ang mga livelihood natin, ganyan. But we really need, bilang ang climate crisis sa kasalukuyan ay nasa buong worldwide framework na the government should take action on it.
Correct. It's like a collective action dapat, no, in
Yeah.
understanding and executing. Siguro balikan ko lang, no, na-mention mo kasi na of course Baguio is situated near the mountain ranges, 'di ba? Or situated in the mountain ranges. So what is the role ba ng mountain ranges natin, specifically the Cordilleras, Caraballos and Sierra Madre, which is always, sige, aminin natin guys, hindi ba kayo nag-post na nung binagyo kayo, thank you Sierra Madre. Aminin nyo, kasama kayo sa mga nag-share nun. Pero naiintindihan ba talaga natin ano yung importance? Can you share with us, Dane, kung ano yung importance ba ng mountain ranges and how can we help ba in preserving it?
Alright. Kasi every year, pag bumabagyo talaga dito sa Philippines, usually kasi trajectory niyan either in the middle of the Philippines or usually northern Luzon, which is karamihan ng mga bagyo recently dumaan sa atin. As a scientist, hindi categorical yung answer namin kung, kasi sinasabi nila na, oh, Sierra Madre was our shield against these very powerful tropical cyclones. Pero as a scientist, we cannot categorically say na yes, Sierra Madre talaga yung dahilan. Or even the mountain ranges that we have in northern Luzon. Kasi may mga pag-aaral na nagsasabing pinapahina lang ng mga bundok at bulubundukin ito yung hampas ng hangin. Pero in reality, mas pinapalakas na yung buhos ng ulan. So depende talaga sa characteristics ng bagyo, sa lakas nito, gaano kalakas yung hangin, gaano kadami yung dala niyang tubig ulan, at depende na rin sa topography at sa kasalukuyang characteristics ng mga mountain range natin. Nakadepende kung kaya nitong lusawin yung bagyo. Kasi ang daming nagsasabi ng gano'n, ang dami nag-share, ang dami nag-tweet, ang dami. At nakikita ko yun sa social media. Pero pag scientist ka kasi minsan, tatanungin mo din, yun nga ba talaga yung dahilan kung
Is
bakit.
it the only variable in the equation?
Exactly. So, kung titignan mo siya on a scientific basis, parang sasabihin talaga namin na depende ito. Hindi naman namin sinasabi na yes, hindi rin naman namin sinasabi na no. In science communication, nabanggit nga nila kanina, minsan maganda rin na may pinapaniwalaan ng mga tao, especially for laymen na wala naman talagang formal background on understanding science or understanding climate change or meteorology. Minsan parang nagiging symbol na of hope yung mga malalaki nating ecosystems such as Sierra Madre or Cordillera Mountain Ranges kasi meron silang basis na or may pinanghahawakan sila na because of these natural resources that we have, we're protected against these hazards. So, pero gusto rin kasi namin baguhin yung framework at yung pag-iisip na it's not just, a shield against strong tropical cyclones, but rather, if we protect these, we're actually protecting natural resources na nagbibigay sa atin ng pagkain, nagbibigay sa atin ng tubig, tahanan ng mga hayop at mga halaman, etc. So, I think, mas dapat ganun yung pagtingin ng mga tao rather than, it's just there to protect us from strong typhoons. Mas proactive yung approach ngayon ng mga tao na pangalagaan kung ano yung meron tayo in our environment if ganun yung magiging framework.
Totoo.
Yung inisip kasi ng mga tao is usability lang ng mountain ranges as, panangga lang siya, but it's more than just that. It's more than just a shield. It's also home even for the locals, diba? Imagine mo, magmamigrate sila or madidisplace sila just because of climate change.
And to add up also to support Professor, there is already in the indigenous peoples the concept of nature guardians. So they believe that the land came first before the people. Hence, they must take care of it, which is why there is also this deep connection in preserving the environment. And to connect it with what Professor have mentioned, yes, there is a need to first establish how can we explain to the locals, how can we connect with them, but through these beliefs and traditions, can we also explain to the citizens what we need to do and what we need to improve.
Yeah, and speaking of Sierra Madre and all, no, I just want to ask Sir Dane, no, para sa mga kabataan natin na hindi alam kung ano nga ba yung mga natural defenders natin, no, I just want you to expound on it po para sa mga taong hindi pa masyadong alam kung ano nga ba yung mga natural defenders natin, no? Like for example, yung Sierra Madre, Cordillera Central, and yung iba pa po, no. I just want to let them know na kung ano nga ba yung mga benefits na makukuha nila dito and yung yung relevance ng mga natural defenders na to sa bagyong na-experience natin ngayon.
Alright. In general, madami kasi tayo Pero siguro start ko na lang with, meron kasi kaming tinatawag na konsepto of ecosystem services. In more simpler terms, we call them benefits that we get from nature and the environment. So, may 4 kasi tayong categories for the ecosystem services: provisioning, supporting, regulating, and cultural ecosystem services. So yung 4 na yon, those are benefits that we get from the environment. So right now, in this very beautiful set, wow,
I love it.
nagbibigay siya ngayon ng cultural ecosystem services because we get to enjoy the view of a natural landscape. But at the same time, provisioning because we can get timber, we can get materials for shelter, may makukuha tayong tubig. Regulating and supporting kasi bahay ito ng mga hayop. Madami tayong nakikita ng iba't ibang klaseng species ng hayop at halaman. At the same time, nare-regulating yung climate, nabibigyan tayo ng oxygen na pwede nating na ginagamit natin para tayo makahinga. So, all of those benefits, apart from protecting us from very strong tropical cyclones, ay bigay or dulot ng mga ecosystems natin. So, in reality, lahat ng ecosystems natin, whether terrestrial ecosystems, freshwater, marine ecosystems, lahat ng yan contribute to the services and benefits that we get from the environment. And in return, I think responsibility natin na pangalagaan yung ecosystems na meron tayo. And it's not just, very big mountain ranges that would protect us from very strong tropical cyclones, even mangrove ecosystems, seagrass ecosystems. Ang dami nating ecosystems na may ganyang dulot na may parang pagka-protective na trait or nature pagdating sa atin. So, I think responsibility talaga natin to protect our natural ecosystems and our resources kasi apart from it being our protector, meron talaga silang binibigay sa atin, directly or indirectly.
And follow-up question ko lang, sir, no? Since we're talking about climate change and all, ano po kaya yung effect nito sa turismo dito sa Baguio?
Alright. I've been here for like 10 years, probably more than 10 years. I studied here, I worked here, and then nag-aral ako abroad, bumalik na naman ako here. So, alam ko yung shift ng climatological conditions ng Baguio City. Kasi before malamig talaga, even pagpaparating ng noontime, malamig pa. And even some of my seniors ay magsasabihin nila, actually mainit na ngayon. And even before mainit na, but before, malamig talaga. And kahit ganitong oras, malamig. Pero ngayon, di ba parang nagpapaypay na tayo, init tayo, pawis na, hulas na.
Nakapag-t-shirt na lang pag-sando na.
Pero like in terms of tourism, I think malaki talaga yung impact niya because we're known for being the escape of people, especially Filipinos, from the hustle and bustle of the metro. Especially my friends in Manila, parang din, ayain mo naman kaming mag-Baguio kasi malamig dyan. Tapos parang ako magre-reply ako sa kanila sa messages nila na parang, hindi na malamig dito. Unfortunately.
Hulas ka na.
Mag-aircon na lang kayo dyan.
Malamig na. Early morning, probably, paggabi na. Pero pag ganitong noontime, afternoon, medyo mainit na.
Yeah.
So, yun yung effect niya, yun yung direct effect niya that it could impact yung number ng tourists na bumibisita natin. And apart from other sectors of our economy here in the city, nakadepende din mainly from tourism yung
Correct.
yung
Oo,
capital
livelihood.
and livelihood ng ating mga kababayan here in Baguio City. So,
Mm-mm.
malaki talaga yung impact kasi pag nag-dwindle yung number ng tourists, obviously magdudwindle din yung pagkakakitaan ng mga locals here in Baguio. And not just in Baguio, but in other places of Cordillera as well. So, yun lang direct impact pa lang yun. But when you're talking about, say, our natural environment, and because of urban sprawl, yung ang daming
Yeah.
highly
Right,
urbanized na rin,
daming,
daming
oo,
bahay,
daming turista
ang
din
daming
here.
developments, and a lot of papers would say we're exceeding our carrying capacity. So, even our resources like water, so isa sa mga
Is
malaking
scarce.
issue talaga in Baguio City is yung scarcity ng tubig,
Right.
whether for drinking, for taking a bath, etc. Malaking issue na talaga yung kakulangan ng tubig in Baguio City. If we don't act, mauubos yung mga resources na yan. So, yun yung mga direct effects ng climate change pagdating sa city.
Totoo yung sinabi ni Sir kanina. Share ko lang, no. Kasi when I'm roaming around with my friends kahapon, may nakasama kong local kasi parent niya local dito. And then parang na-mention niya na dati talaga malamig dito, and then dahil nga sa mga tourists na pupunta dito, parang he think na because of the vehicles, marami na ring napupunta dito, and yung mga infrastructures nagde-develop, yung mga dating places na napupuntahan nilang inakyatan nila ng puno, wala na raw. Tapos parang as time passed by, no, parang nag-change na rin and dumuunlad yung Baguio, pero kapalit nito is yung changes na rin sa klimang na-experience natin ngayon.
Right. Siguro, when we talk about effects also, no, meron pang another tourist attraction na I think pinupuntahan ng lahat, pero also maybe indirectly or directly affected, no? Mga endangered open parks, diba? No? So, anong masasabi nyo when it comes to what are the actions that we should take to help also recover yung endangered open parks that we have here? Kasi hindi lang naman probably here in Baguio yung nangyayari. A lot of the places here in the Philippines, iba-ibang foreigners, locals na nagiging turista ang pumupunta. Pero I don't think, personal opinion ko to, I don't think we have the right guardrails when it comes to how do we implement the right laws when it comes to penalties, or parang how do we hold people accountable in whatever they bring or leave in a place such as an open park. So siguro balik ko muna, Jomar, ano sa tingin mo yung pwede bang gawin ng both government and the people when it comes to these things?
As a member of the youth representative in the council, City Council of Baguio, one thing that we always focus on is, of course, we need to integrate and involve as many stakeholders that we have. When we create laws, we invite speakers. These speakers must be expert as well in the field. The locals, professor, the academe, and of course, we need also to invite the tourists, at least, in public consultations, which I believe at present there are public consultations being done. But more specifically, at least increase the ratio of representatives in councils. And I know, I understand, and I also appreciate that some of the representatives in the city council, or not just here in Baguio City, but in other provinces wherein they try to include the youth. But the question is, how can we involve them? The sustainability of stakeholder engagement. Kasi talaga sa academe, sa student councils, napapalitan yung mga student leaders natin. And the question is, how can we continue? So we need to first look at the problems experienced by the stakeholders kung bakit walang continuity. And of course, we need also to assess ano ang sustainable plan natin sa ating mga batas. Hindi lang po yung, actually the Philippines is very technical, ang dami-dami ng nating batas. Internationally, wow.
May subclause.
Yes po. Pero the question is implementation. Where do we draw the line on it? First, ask ourselves, what is the problem of our stakeholders? Second, how can we sustain our projects? Yun po naman ang nakikita ko.
Kasi palit-palit lang ng tao, tas more likely, kung hindi penalty, it's incentivization.
Yeah.
Para mas is that, sustainable ba yun for you?
To add this, yung binabanggit, no, in climate actions, we call this climate mitigations, where we mitigate yung mismong existing na climate crisis na nangyayari sa atin. So parang we are actually trying to address yung mismong role na natin bilang sectors and especially the government on how to mitigate the already existing climate crisis. And one thing that we need to really think a lot ay yung mismong pag-translate ba nung mismong urbanization, modernization, tourism, economy, vis-a-vis with the environmental protections. Kasi totoong merong, we acknowledge yung mismong benefits from tourism economy. But however, we need to, the government and others, the local itself, we need to protect our environment. Kasi parang ang nangyayari, there are, in Baguio City, there are a lot of developmental projects to sustain the already increasing tourism economy. So, parang ang mangyayari, because of the traffic at kulang ng walang parking lot, magpapagawa ng parking lot, and ang cost ng pagpapagawa ng parking lot ay pagputol ng mga puno. So, I think it's time for the government of the Baguio City to really address and mitigate the already increasing tourism economy while we are addressing the urban decay issue or the carrying capacity issue of the Baguio City.
Parang nagiging inversely proportional, no? Kapag mas nagiging modernized, urbanized, parang lalong nawawala yung element of nature and respect towards natural resources.